Greetings everyone. I'm Bautista Lawrence Jr., the group leader of this group. So for our members, we have Aquino Justin Lamberto L. We have Balbero Lee Rafi Angelo O. We have Mr. Bukid Abraham Christopher M. And lastly, we have Kapoy Andre C. So for our final laboratory activity 2, we are tasked to create a simple web-based restaurant order and billing system using a CRUD. And the catch of this activity that we should create only it with one file. So now I and my members will explain each classes, each markup, and what we have used for this web-based, simple web-based to work. So let's now start.
Well, greetings everyone. I'm Balbero Lee Rapiangelo, and I'll be explaining the menu item class. So, the menu item class is one of the two classes in a program, and its main job is to manage all data that is related to a menu item in a customer's order. So, it has three attributes: the item name, which stores the name of the food, the servings, which holds the number of servings the customer ordered, and price per serving, which is the cost of one serving. You also notice that each attribute has a declared data type. So item name is a string, serving is an integer, and price per serving is a float. So when the menu item object is created, our constructor accepts these three values and assign them to object properties right away. So the class has one method called the compute subtotal. So this method simply multiplies the number of servings by the price per serving. Now let's move on to the also walk you through to the input validation per system, which is a function called validate order input. So this function is called every time a user submits the form. So whether they are adding a new order or updating an existing one. So it receives the form data and checks each field one by one. Then returns an array of error messages if the array is empty. So it means all inputs are valid and the order can be saved. So if there are errors, the system flashes them back to the form so the users know what to fix. So let us go through each field. So for the customer name, the system checks that it is not empty. At least it needs to have at least two characters and no more than 60, and that it only contains valid name characters like letters, spaces, hyphens, apostrophes, and periods. So numbers or special symbols would be rejected. So for the item name, similar rules apply. It cannot be empty, must be between 2 and 80 characters, and only allows letters, numbers, spaces, and common food related symbols like ampersands and parentheses. So now let's go to servings. So the system checks that it is not empty, whole number with no decimal or symbols, and that is between 1 and 9,999. So if someone types a negative number here or a decimal, it gets rejected. And lastly, for the price per serving, the system also checks that it is not empty, a valid number, and is greater than 0, but does not exceed 999,999. So it has no more than two decimal places since we're dealing with currency. And now let's move on to the next presenter that will present the order class.
So, the greetings, I'm Justin. Together with Mr. Bukid, we'll presenting the order class, a PHP class that handles billing computation for our restaurant system. We'll each cover our assigned methods. The order class has several attributes. Think of this as the class stored information. They declared as public, meaning other parts of the program can be accessed them. This includes the customer's name, menu item, subtotal, service charge, service charge rate, discount, and total. In PHP, variable use the $sign. The class also has a constructor which runs automatically when you create a new order object. Inside it, we set these objects customer name, to the value passed in. And we do the same for the rest of the properties. The constructor also calls all the compute methods right away to calculate and store the result. Now, the first method is compute subtotal. It's declared as public, meaning it can be called from outside the class. Inside, it calls the compute subtotal method of this object menu item. This returns the result. Simply put, the order just forwards the question to the menu item and passes the answers back. Then, the second method is compute service charge. It multiplies this mu- it multiplied this object subtotal by this object service charge rate. For example, if the subtotal is 1,000 and the rate is 0.08, the result is 80 pesos. That value is then returned. Now, next presenter po.
Greetings, Sir Janus. I'm Abraham Christopher M. Bukid. So let's proceed to the next method, which is the compute discount rate. So this method uses an if-else structure, which is conditional statement that checks conditions one by one. The first condition if subtotal of this object is greater than or equal to 1,000 uses the greater than or equal operator, which means greater than or equal. So if that's true, we return 0.10, which is 10%. So if not, it checks the next condition as if the subtotal of this object is greater than or equal to 500. If the subtotal is at least 500, we return 0.05 for 5%. If neither condition is true, the else block runs and we return 0, meaning no discount. Only one block runs, whichever condition is met first. In the next method, which is the compute discount, the syntax is return subtotal of this object multiplied by discount rate. This is straightforward multiplication. So we take the subtotal and multiply it by the discount rate that was already computed of the discount. For example, 1,000 multiplied by 0.10 gives 100. The return keyword sends the value back. The next method is the compute total. So this method has a syntax return subtotal of this object plus service charge minus the discount. So the addition symbol adds the service charge on the top of the subtotal, and the subtract symbol subtracts the discount. So as you can see, PHP follows the standard math order. So addition and subtraction are done left to right. Using our example, 1,000 plus 80 minus 100, the method returns 980 as the final total. So next, let's proceed to the create part. So this functionality of the PHP, this block starts with an if condition that checks two things. So first, it verifies if the request method is post using the server request method equals strictly equal to post. So this means that the form was submitted. Next, it checks if the action from the form access using post action is equal to create. So the question mark operator is used to provide a default value in case the action is not set. So if both conditions are true, the program proceeds to validate the input by calling the function validate order input post. So this function returns an array of errors if there are invalid inputs. Next, the code checks if there are errors using empty errors. So if error exists, they are stored in the session using session errors. At the same time, the user's previous inputs are also saved in session old input. So as you can see, there is a trim function. It is used here to remove unnecessary spaces. And the double question mark operator ensures that missing values will not cause errors. So it allows the form to be repopulated when the page reloads. If there are no errors, the program clears any previous errors and old input by setting them to empty arrays. After that, a new object called menu item is created using the new keyword. The item name is trimmed while the servings and price per serving are converted into the correct data types using int and float. Then a new order object is created, combining the customer name and the menu item. So this object is stored inside the session array session orders. So the square brackets means that the new order is added to the list. Then finally, the code redirects the user back to the same page using the header location server PHP underscore self. So this prevents duplicate form submissions. The exit statement is used to stop the script after the redirect. So in summary, this code handles creating a new order by validating input, storing errors if needed, and saving valid data into the session and refreshing the page safely.
So, greetings, Sir Janus. I'm Andre C. Capoy, and I will be the one to discuss the update and delete system of update and delete function of our system. So, first, for the update part, this codes first checks if the request came from a form submission using post and if the action is set to date update. This makes sure it only runs when the user is trying to edit an existing order. So, it then gets the index of the order to update along with the new values entered by the user, and such as the customer name, item name, and number of servings, and also the price per serving. So, the text inputs are cleaned to remove extra spaces and the numeric values are converted into the correct types. So, before updating anything, this code checks if the order actually exists in the session array to avoid errors. So, if it doesn't exist, it creates a new menu item and order object using the updated information and replaces the old order with the new one. So, and then after that, the page is reloaded so that the changes can be seen right away and to prevent the form from being submitted again if the page is refreshed. So, next is the delete part. For the delete part, this block of code checks if the request is a GET request and if the action is set to delete. So when this usually happens when the user clicks a delete link or button. So it gets the index of the order to be removed from the URL and make sure that the order exists in the session. So if it does, the code removes it from the array using array splice, and then it also keeps the array properly arranged afterward. So once the deletion is done, the page is reloaded to show the updated list and to avoid accidentally deleting the same item again if the user refreshes the page. And then overall, the code is designed to safely handle updates and deletions by checking data first and keeping the user interface in sync with the stored data.
Mga greetings po again. I am Bautista Lawrence Jr. and I will be discussing the markup for our website. So first, we have, as usual, we have the form method for our PHP session. So this form tag, this is used to collect user input such as the customer name, the menu item, number of serving, and price per serving. It uses the post method to securely send the data to the server or to the PHP. And inside the form, we use input fields. These input have different types like text for names and number for serving and for price. We also use here. Here are the forms. Then, then we also use the required attribute to make sure the users cannot submit empty fields. Then we also included hidden inputs like action and edit index. These are important because they help to determine whether the user is adding a new order or updating an existing one. So next one would be the table, the dynamic table that we have used. So for this one, um, um, we use the table tag to display all orders. The T head defines the column headers such as customer name and item, subtotal, and total. Then the T body contains the actual data. Then inside the table, here, here, And inside the table, we use PHP for each loop. This loop goes through all orders stored in the session and dynamically display each one in a row. We also use HTML special chars or characters to prevent security issues like XSS attacks by escaping user input. Then for formatting numbers, we use number format to properly display prices in peso format with two decimal places. For actions, we use button and A tags. The edit button triggers a JavaScript function while the delete button uses a link with a confirmation message before removing data. Then lastly, we have JavaScript function. So for this one, instead of using PHP only, we use also JavaScript for client-side scripting. So what are the use of this? Like edit order and cancel edit, this function allows us to dynamically update the form when editing an order and reset it when canceling. So overall, these tags and function work together to create a dynamic and interactive ordering system. That's why we have to use JavaScript also, not just PHP. So for this project, we use both client and server-side scripting. So this is our markup. So what will be the look of our interface? And I will also demo what we can use for this simple web. So let me share my screen to another tab. So that will be the look for the whole screen for our simple interface. So for our test case, I have to put John, and for our menu item, burger. Then for servings, I, which is 2. And for price per serving, which is 150. Then this button will add the order and dynamically change the table below. So after clicking the add order, um, we can see here that John with an order of burger with servings of 2 dynamically change the table below, as well as we have the price with serving, which is 150. Then subtotal, since John ordered 2 burgers, so we have 300 now. And for service charge, which is 8%, we have 24 pesos. And for discount, since it's only have 300 pesos, we don't have any discount. So for our total for this order, we have 324. Service charge plus subtotal. So for our um, test case 2, Anna, Anna, pizza, and 3 numbers of serving, then price per serving is 200. So I will click the order. So again, after clicking the add order, it will dynamically change the table below. So we have Anna now with menu item pizza and servings of 3. Then price per serving, which is 200. And so for our subtotal, we have 600 now. So for our service charge, 8% of the subtotal, which is 48 pesos. So for our discount, it since it's at 600, we have discount now, which is the 5% of 600. So total of 30 pesos. Then for total, we have 618. So subtotal plus service charge minus the discount. So for the last case, um, for the name, we have Mark. Then for menu item, we have steak. Then for numbers of serving, again 2. Then for price, we have 600. So again, after clicking the button, as you can see, the table below dynamically changed. We have now Mark with an order of steak, and for serving, he ordered 2. And for price per serving for steak, we have 600. And the subtotal would be 1,200 pesos. Then for service charge, 8% of 1,200, which is 96 pesos. Then for our discount, since our subtotal passes 1,000 pesos, we have now 10% discount, which is 120 pesos. So for our total, we have 1,176 pesos subtotal plus service charge minus the discount. And that will be the total. So now I will be using the actions button. I will edit John. So I'll be clicking the edit button. Then as you can see, we have another button here, which is the update order. So I'll be updating the numbers of serving into 3. So update order. As you can see, the table again dynamically changes. So from 2 servings to 3. It also changes the subtotal, service charge, and the discount. So now I will try to delete one order, which is Mark. I will delete Mark. So as you can see, maybe not in the screen right now, share screen, but there's a model here says, are you sure you want to delete this order? And I will click OK. And right now, since I click OK, which returns true, Mark now delete from our table. So that would be all for our final laboratory activity 2. I hope Sir Janus and everyone understand something for our demonstration and for our explanation.